Yo guys, it's CFB. Welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome back to the channel. Today, you are getting a different type of video here today. Type of videos that I don't really do that often, but when I do, they tend to bang. So let's see if it is another banger on the line. Anyway, these are the players, in my opinion, that have to step up for Chelsea this season or whilst the Club World Cup is still going on, because some of the names that are in this list of 5 players are touted with a move away this summer. So in my opinion, they have to impress in the Club World Cup. Some of the players that are in this list, in my opinion, have to impress in the season. Otherwise, they're off, in my opinion. These are the 5 players that have to step up this season. Before we do get into the video, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so notified every time I load a video. First link in the description is my streaming channel, my second channel. Go and check those out. Be very much appreciated. Like I said, subscribe. We're only 2 off. Who are the 2 lucky people that are going to drop that sub button and become proper chows? And who are proper chows? Who are you? Let's see, and let's get into the video. With the 5 players that have to step up for Chelsea this season. So, starting it off, let's start off relatively quite easy. Actually, no, let's jump straight into the deep end. Screw it. Let's jump straight into the deep end with number 1 being Jackson. Nicholas Jackson, the striker of Chelsea, who has been our main striker for the past 2 seasons. Now, Jackson, look, first season, look, if we're being realistic, in the 2 seasons he's been here, he's kind of been dealt a bad hand. He has, because in the 2 seasons he's been here, he's been the main striker by default, because we've had nobody else to really back him up. And the backups that we have added to, back him up have been like players like Mark Gu, for example. Like, Mark Gu's not going to really test Jackson at this stage of his career. Jackson is a player that I think in the first season when he came to Chelsea, he impressed for me. 14 goals, 5 assists in the league, in the Premier League, in all competitions. I'm not too sure what it is. But he impressed that first season. I remember watching him. He had all this ability where he could turn past the defender. He dropped deep and turned 2 defenders. You know what I'm trying to say? His goal scoring ability, in my opinion, was better than what it was in the second season. Jackson linked really, really well. There was that partnership with Palmer that was building. You know what I'm trying to say? That looked like a building block going forward for us in the future. First season, Jackson, I was really happy with him. Last season, Jackson, second season, Jackson, there's no doubt about it. He went off the boil completely. Starting off in the Premier League, the first 10 games of the Premier League, he looked amazing. He looked like he was going to be a freak of nature in that season. He generally looked like he was going to compete for the Golden Boot of the Premier League last year. What was it, like 8 or 9 goals in like 10 appearances? It's in and around that margin. And he ended up ending the season with 30 games played, 10 goals and 5 assists. Apart from those first like 10, 11 games, whatever it was, he barely scored. He went through a run of games of like 15 games without getting a goal. For a striker, that's awful. I'm expecting 1 in 2 or at least 1 in 3 goals from my striker. You know what I'm trying to say? 1 in 2 preferably for a striker. To be a Chelsea striker, that should be your aim. You know what I'm trying to say? His link up as well went. His link up with Palmer, in my opinion, went last season. Again, apart from first half of the season, second half of the season and stuff like that. It just disappeared. He wasn't doing those turns past defenders and stuff like that. He looks like he's completely gone down the boil. Not to mention the red cards that he constantly keeps getting. The Newcastle one as well. Silly. Absolutely silly red card. Silly red card that put the team in a bad position. You know what I mean? In a bad position in a game that was so important. And then not even to mention the Club World Cup red card that you also got. The Club World Cup red card, again, it's a silly challenge. It's a straight red. It's a deserved red. It just puts the team in another sticky situation. But there's no doubt the quality Jackson has. Jackson has quality. We've all seen it. He does have quality. But for me, look, he's another player that has been rumoured to move away next season or this coming season, whatever it is. He's been rumoured to move away. Whether it's going to happen, I'm not too sure. But to be a Chelsea striker, you've got to get better. You can't have that one season, then have a worse season and have another worse season. You know what I'm trying to say? You've got to be stable. And now he's got the lap that is competing against him. I'm hoping Jackson doesn't just throw his toys out the pram because he hasn't got an easy ride anymore. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, at Chelsea Football Club, you're going to have competition. That's the reality of the situation. And in my opinion, we've got to see a massive boost in Jackson very, very soon, in my opinion, because let's be real, he's not been good enough. He's not been good enough, and I've not been impressed with his Club World Cup form so far. So with Jackson out of the way, let's move into player number 2 that we're going to talk about here, and it's none other than Noni Madueke. Madueke is a player I've really liked, and I forgot to mention this about Jackson. I've been on the Jackson hype train for a long time. I've always backed him, but I think I'm at the boiling point now with Jackson. And the same goes with Madueke, really. It's weird with Madueke because he's a little bit of the opposite of Jackson. His first season he had here, you know, barely mind he came in January, I think it was. He wasn't amazing, but he showed decent qualities about him. But because he didn't get that much game time, I wasn't really going to judge him on that season. And then, obviously, the Pochettino season 23-24 came around. And you know what? He showed good qualities. He wasn't getting consistent starts, you know, consistently and stuff like that. He wasn't always playing. I think in the Premier League, he played like 23 games or something. He was mostly used as an impact sub in that season. But even then, like, he took a step up in, you know what I mean? He took a little step up in terms of the way he was playing and, you know, his goal scoring, his GA and stuff like that. It took a little step up. And then we go to last season under Maresca. In my opinion, under Maresca, he was our best winger last season. And again, he took a little step up. He took a little step up again in terms of his progress as a player. Ever since he's come in, he's progressed as a player each season, little by little. And even in terms of his game, he's improved little by little. So you're probably looking at me right now and going, so why is he on your, you know, a player that must improve? Because even then, Madueke's still not being amazing. He's too inconsistent. Apart from, like, last season was his best GA season for us last season. What was it? It was like seven goals, 3 assists, I think it was, something like that, in like 30 odd games. Like, it's still not a good return, but when you take those 7 goals and you say, take 3 of them off because 3 of them were at the start of the season against Wolves, which you can't take, it's a bit of an unfair thing to say, take 3 of them off, but you know what I mean? Like, 3 of those came in one game, which was a great game from Madueke in that game, and I was really happy he got his hat-trick, but if you take 3 of those off, that's 4 goals. That's 4 goals and 3 assists. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm looking for a wide player that can be a threat. Madueke has a load of abilities that I'm a big fan of. Loads of abilities. His take-on ability. I personally like him being a bit of a solo. I do like him being a bit of a solo because we don't have enough of that in the team. Somebody who's willing to take a shot at a risky moment in time or something. As long as it's not an obvious chance like that Sterling against Wolves on Christmas Day in 2023 or 2024, one of the two, not Christmas Day, Christmas Eve. It was one of the two. As long as it's not an obvious chance like that where you should be squaring it, Madueke doesn't really have moments like that. He has moments where he takes on the player and he'll have a pop at a goal. I like that. But his shot accuracy is nowhere near good enough. His decision-making is also too slow, in my opinion. Yes, he's took little steps up in his game at Chelsea whilst he's been here, but even then, he's still not good enough. It's still not good enough from him. His Club World Cup campaign so far has been nothing short of really, really poor. So I've got to see more from Madueke. I've got to. He's not a player that I want to sell, really, because I do like him. But if he was to go, I wouldn't really blame the club. And also, we could get somebody better in that position. We could. So that's Madueke out of the way. In my opinion, he is definitely a player that has to step up very, very soon. Moving on to my third pick. Again, this one, to be fair, this one might not come as a surprise. So the third player I'm choosing is Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto. It's weird with Gusto because that first season that he came to us, again, 23-24, I think it was, under Pochettino, he was, in my opinion, one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League. That's my personal opinion. I think he was one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League because guess why? It's what I just said. He was playing as a fullback. That is his position. His position is as a fullback. That's where he best operates. When we see him for France at international break, he's playing as a fullback and he's playing good games. For Gusto, in my opinion, it's not about the player. For me, it's not about the player and his quality. That's not it. That's not my problem with Gusto. My problem with Gusto is the fact that he doesn't fit in the system we currently play. And if he wants to stay at Chelsea, which I personally want him to stay at Chelsea, if he was to stay at Chelsea, he's got to evolve into this system. He has to evolve into this system. Because, look, I may not agree with the system we play. I don't like the inverted thing, whether full-back inverted into midfield or full-back inverted as a centre-back. I'm not a big fan of that. But that's the system we're playing. That's the system the manager wants to play. And the manager deserves that after, getting the qualification to the Champions League this season coming. And getting a trophy, we should be able to stick with him. You know what I mean? Maybe he does better. Gusto's one of those where when he inverts into midfield, it's better than him inverting as a centre-back, because in my opinion, inverted as a centre-back, he's just not there, in my opinion. But when he inverts into midfield, he's not got the creativity. His shooting's not as good. He doesn't track back quick enough. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's all it is about Gusto for me. That's all it is about Gusto for me. And I think if you disagree with that, and you just think he's a terrible fullback in general, no matter the system, and he should go, then I think you just have an agenda on him, because I do see some people just think that he's just shit. I don't think he is. I think he's a good fullback, but that's just not the system we play. And I think with especially Josh Atchempong coming into the squad, and him able to do a better job inverting into midfield than what Gusto can, because his ball carrying is way better, in my opinion, than Gusto's. And also, in my opinion, he's also a way better centre-back than Gusto. That's not even a debate. Like, midfield, maybe you can have a little debate, but, like, as a centre-back, it's not even a debate. I think Gusto's got to stay on his toes here. I think he has to. And there's no doubt we'd be able to get pure profit on him. I think definitely we'd be able to sell him for more than what we brought him. But he's got to stay on his toes, because I tell you what, it's not looking good for him at the moment. It's not. And again, he's not had a good Club World Cup campaign. So that's it on Gusto for me. Now, moving on to my fourth pick. This one might come as a little bit of a harsh one, but it's the reality of the situation. We've got to talk about it. Wesley Fofana is my fourth pick. Again, just like Gusto, he's a player I absolutely love. Jackson was a player I loved. I still have some sort of belief in him, but, you know what I mean, there's reservations. And Madueke is a player I really like as well, you know what I mean? Again, though, with Fofana, I wouldn't really say it's his fault, but it's his injury problems. And I feel like if Fofana really wants to stay at Chelsea and, play for our beloved club, he's got to play more games. He's got to play more games. There's no doubt about it. When Fofana plays for us, he has quality. He has quality. He's one of our best centre-backs when he's playing in the team. He is. And no doubt about it, when he's fit and available and ready, he's straight into the lineup. He is. But the problem is, he's only fit and available for 15 games a season. That is a situation. Thing is, Lavia's been getting better. Reece James is getting better. My problem with Fofana is I don't think Fofana is sustainable. Reece James has been happening for about 2 years now, 2-3 years. But like I said, he's been getting better. Lavia's has been happening for about a year, but he's been getting better. Fofana's, the reason why I don't think Fofana's is curable, or whatever you want to say for it, is because this has been happening since early Leicester days, which is like 2018, 2019, one of the two or something like that. It's been happening for ages. And the problem is when Wesley Fofana's out, it's not just 2 weeks and maybe he's back in training for, a bit or something like that. No, when he's out, it's usually about 2 months. And then if it's not 2 months, it's a surgery again. You know what I'm trying to say? We can't rely on that. We cannot rely on that. And this is speaking about This is me speaking, and I'm a big Wesley Fofana lover. I love him. I think he's brilliant. But if he's not available for these amount of games, now we're going into the Champions League, it leaves one spot at centre-back free. And what happens if more injuries start piling up? You know what I'm trying to say? For Wesley Fofana, it's unfortunate, but it's the reality of the situation, if you know what I'm trying to say. And then, now moving into my fifth and final pick, it's Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall is a player I think kind of goes under the radar a little bit, because everybody, again, just thinks he's not that great. You know what I'm trying to say? There's not really much hate towards Dewsbury Hall. People just think he's just not Chelsea quality. And I think that is the situation. Dewsbury Hall is not Chelsea quality. He's not. But I'm going to give my props where props is due. Dewsbury Hall was one of our better players in the Conference League. But take that into account. Conference League. You know what I mean? Conference League. It's not Champions League, which we're in now. It's Conference League. He is a player that I think can play for a decent Premier League side. I don't think he's a top 6 Premier League player or top 4 Premier League player. You know what I'm trying to say? He's definitely not Chelsea quality. Again, nothing towards him. I think at the times he's featured, he's always done an okay job. You know what I'm trying to say? He's never had an absolute mare or anything like that. But I just don't think he's Chelsea quality. We could sell him, bring in a decent amount of money, and then I think we're fine in terms of centre mids, because let's be real. Think about the centre mids we've got at the club. We've got Enzo, Caicedo, Santos, Esugo, you know, Lavia. I can't believe I just nearly forgot about Lavia. There's 5 midfielders there. He's not going to get in. With Dewsbury Hall, it's nothing to do with him as a player, really. If he's had any bad games or anything, I don't think he's up to Chelsea standard. And I don't think he's going to get much game time with all the midfielders that are over him. You know what I'm trying to say? So with Dewsbury Hall, it's just down to a lack of, you know, he's just not top 6 quality. He's just not. So we could generate money from that sale and move on. So anyway, that is my 5 from today's video that are Chelsea players that I think should step up, or I just don't think are particularly that good enough. That's my 5. Obviously, there's more out there that, you know, you could argue that could be for sale or should be sold or something like that. Like, I get that, but these are the big 5 for me that have to step up or show something soon, very soon or something. So that's it for today's video, guys. A little bit of a different one. Let me know in the comments down below what you all think. Do you agree with all my picks? If you do, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, everybody. Take care. And I'll see you very, very soon. Peace.